Welcome to the city of West Miami and good morning. Today is a special commission meeting. It's August the 4th.
Fifth.
I'm sorry, the 5th. The agenda was amended on the 4th. So once again, welcome to the city of West Miami. Can we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Mayor Eduardo Mujina,
Present.
Vice Mayor Candida Blanca,
Yes.
Commissioner Juan Blanes,
Present.
Commissioner Rondon Rodriguez is arriving, Commissioner Luciano Suarez.
Yes.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we take out of order item B?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item 3, new business agenda items. Item 3B, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami adopting a schedule for capital improvement program for the City of West Miami for the purpose of applying for a FERDAP grant in the amount of $50,000 for cycle year 2016-17, providing for severability and for effective date. Mayor and City Commission.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, before Mr. Pena gets started, I know this is a special commission meeting. I apologize for adding this item. The FERDAP funding cycle has officially opened, and time is of the essence for us to expedite our wish list or capital improvement list so that we can proceed to apply for a grant. Commissioner Juan Blanes, who chairs Parks and Recreations, was briefed. We had a meeting this week, which I was unable to attend because of my mother's medical emergency. However, Mr. Pena and Mercedes Leon, the finance director, who acted as acting city manager, attended. And we would like for you to approve a list of projects that could conceivably be considered for funding by the state of Florida this coming legislative session. I yield to Juan Pena, who's better versed at this time with the projects, our Director of Public Works.
Mr. Pena.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. This cycle, the state has new requirements. First of all, they've lowered the pot to $3 million statewide, so that's why we needed to have this schedule of capital improvements reapproved. But their requirements this year for any FERDAP grants are that they have accessibility, that it has to be outdoors, and that it has to have accessibility for disabled people to be able to use the activity. So along those lines, we met with Robert Ruano and John Michael Lopez from the Rec Center, and we determined that Commissioner Blanes had in the past expressed interest on placing exercise equipment around the Cooper Park Trail, and that this project would qualify good as a building stations around the trail so that regular people and people with disabilities could do use the equipment to do exercise. So the $50,000 will cover probably about 6 to 8 stations around the Cooper Park Trail for exercise equipment. And that's what we're focusing on this year, should they approve it.
Okay. Excellent.
ADA accessible, all of them?
Yes.
Any questions? Commissioner Blanes?
No questions. I think that's the only option we have.
Correct.
So, and that would benefit the community at large
And
to a
most
great
of all,
extent, so.
most of all, the new equipment that we always put in is ADA accessible. This would just add to the amenities there at that park.
Okay.
I make a motion?
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Can you call the vote, please?
Yes, Commissioner Blanes, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Sorry for being late, yes.
Commissioner Suarez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanca,
Yes.
Mayor Mujina,
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, just for the record, there will be a sole source meeting and a meeting with the Recreation Committee on Wednesday of next week, starting at 6 p.m., correct, Mr. Pena? At the City of West Miami Recreation Center so that we can publicly obtain input from the community and put the projects out there. Mr. Blanes, I believe will send you, if you haven't received it, we will be forwarding a calendar to remind you, obviously, as chairman of the committee. We are required to have several meetings because it helps us score points with these applications. And we need to make sure that we meet all those point systems so that we can garner support for the application from the state.
Very well.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item, item A.
Item 3A, public hearing. This is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of West Miami, Florida, authorizing the issuance by the city of $1,525,000 capital improvement revenue note series 2016 for the purpose of financing certain capital improvements and paying the cost of issuing the note, providing as security for payment of such note, a covenant to budget and appropriate non-ad valorem revenues, providing for the rights of the holders of such note, appointing a registrar, providing for other related matters, providing certain other agreements and covenants in connection with the issuance of such note, and providing for an effective date, Mayor and City Commission. And Mayor and City Commission, this public hearing was advertised in the newspaper of general circulation on July 25th, 2016.
Thank you. Before I open the public hearing, Madam Manager, anything that we need to add to?
Briefly recap, as you are aware, that the City of West Miami abandoned a loan with Total Bank after 14 months of an application process that we were not able to close. In addition to that, the pledges were extremely punitive to the city, to the loan, and so we came to you and asked you for authorization, which you gave to us during a meeting. To abandon that route, we brought on board Estrada Hinojosa, who's represented by Christina Zanali here today, and Lourdes Abadin, who is in Chicago on business at this time. They went out to the market and they brought back from what we initially were looking at 4.25% interest rate. They actually found a bank, City National Bank, who's also represented here by Odalis Peña and Amanda Abril. We found a loan with a much more competitive rate. I believe the rate came down to 2.25% and no prepayment penalty clause. The other loan contained prepayment penalty clauses and balloon mortgages after a while. This loan also gives us an additional 5 years, and we'll be saving the money of the initial investment that we made for the appraisal of this property, some attorney's fees that we did incur, and some loan origination fees to the tune of about $2,300. That being said, Lourdes, Cristina, if you want to chime in on I did Mr. Villalobos, I just did. The amount of money that we invested was approximately $5,000. I believe that we will make up that money within the first couple of months of the loan because of the new structure of the loan. Christina, if there's anything else you need to add to it, Mr. Mayor, I would entertain that they go on record. That concludes my recap.
Okay.
Hi,
Go
good
ahead,
morning.
Christina.
Good morning. I'm Christina Zanali with Estrada Hinojosa. We were lucky to work with the city. We assisted them in issuing an RFP to several banks. City National was top ranked, so from then on, we went to negotiate with them. They came back with a great 2.25% interest rate. The principal is paid annually, and the interest is paid semi-annually. And the structure, we were able to customize it with the finance director and the city manager that was most beneficial to the city. So actually the principal is starting in February 2018. And the total par amount is 1,525, which covers the amounts that the city manager was discussing, as well as any costs of issuance. And we felt that this was the best proposal, and no prepayment penalty, so very flexible and a great interest rate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The interest rate initially came in at, I believe, 2.5%, if my memory doesn't fail me, Christina. And Estrada Hinojosa went back and negotiated with the bank, and they lowered their rates to 2.25%. So I think it's a good deal, and at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I believe the city will be saving in excess of $250,000 in this for having changed its course of action and seeking proposals and bringing on Estrada Hinojosa. So I believe that this is a win-win situation, and it'll allow us to address our capital needs. This is the first time in 70 years that the city does any major improvements to its infrastructure, meaning our municipal hall building. So we're really looking to leave a legacy for 70 years more to come. So that's pretty much concludes with our presentation. And kudos to you all, because thank you for having the faith in us to bring you these programs that have a benefit for your constituents.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
How long is the length of the payment of the
The,
loan?
it goes through February 2031. The last principal is February 1st, 2031.
2031.
Mhm.
So we are in the 16.
Yes.
15 years.
15-year maturity, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody
Thank
else
you.
need to present or?
One
Explain.
more item, Mr. Mayor, for the record, this is important. We actually, you all approved a cap of $1,550,000. We were able to accomplish this all for $1,525,000. So we saved a pot of $25,000. So I think we did as best we could with this loan.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This is to finish the public works area
This is
and the expansion of the city hall.
This is correct. This is to reimburse the city what it fronted for the building that is under
The
construction,
expansion here in the front.
the
and
motor pool, and the front office
and the,
expansion.
complete finish in the
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Motion.
No, wait. We gotta.
Oh, we have public hearing. I'm
open
sorry.
it up.
Hearing.
Sorry.
Okay, so any further presentation? Well, at this time, I also want to welcome Peter Dame to be present, so thank you so much, sir. Okay. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wants to
Mr.
speak
Mayor,
in
you
the
should
subject?
read the heading of the ordinance.
I believe it was read already.
It was read already.
Okay.
for the-
It was read already. So, like I said, public hearing is open. Anybody?
No, Mr.
Madam
Mayor.
Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I would ask Peter Dame to come up and briefly explain or in caption what his involvement was with the preparation of the loan documents, and if you would hear from him for a few minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Peter Dame. I'm with Ackerman. I'm actually in the Jacksonville office. My function here has been to act as, assist the city attorney by acting as bond counsel to draft the ordinance you have in front of you and the actual note and the loan documents that go to the bank to assist the financial advisor in their negotiation and discussions with the bank and their counsel. The action you have in front of you today, of course, is the ordinance which does authorize the debt, the note. You agree to pay it back from your non-ad valorem revenues. It's not property taxes, it's other sources of funds. Other than that, I'm here to answer any questions you might have in connection with the ordinance or the transaction. And I think as was stated, the terms of the transaction look customary and the interest rate looks good to us. So we would recommend you adopt it.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Okay. Anything else? Yes.
The only comment I want to make is that this is a capital improvement, right? This money is using for a capital improvement.
That's correct.
So with this, we can use the money from the impact fee to repay this loan too, right?
That's a question perhaps to the city manager.
No, he's an expert.
Oh, okay.
Impact fees to the extent you have collected them for the purposes for which the facilities are being used, can be used for this. I'm not familiar with your impact fee structure.
Oh,
I
I'm
know
sorry.
why you hold
Okay,
it.
okay, it's not, okay, don't worry.
So,
All right. Thank you.
Okay, if you don't have any further comments, I will be closing the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. Back to the table. Need a motion.
Motion?
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, can you call the vote?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Blanes? How do you
Yes.
vote? Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanca?
Yes.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes,
5-0, item passes.
thank you. Good of the order. Anything for the good of the order? Well, just for the good of the order, the only thing I want to say is we all probably got a correspondent, which is, from one of the neighbors that lives in the city of West Miami, recognizing our work. And it's always great to hear from our neighbors that they, unfortunately, most of the people are very quick to criticize. So when you get people saying things like that, you welcome them. That's all I got on the good of the order.
Well, let me tell you, Mayor and members of the table,
Excuse me, Commissioner.
let me tell you, I was last night in the Miami-Dade League of Cities, and everybody was congratulating me, for West Miami, because the article in Miami Herald about the building, the sale of that building, and the way that we are doing here things, and everybody was, surprised how good we are, blah, 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 so I was very happy. So I want to transmit to you that everybody is recognizing, the good work we have been doing here.
I must comment on that as well. I was
you
also.
was there
Yeah,
too.
I was there. You
I'm
forgot. I
sorry.
was there. That's okay.
You were
I
there.
also received. We were there together, but
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
just around a lot more than I was. No. I also received many, many comments that a lot of people read the article and were congratulating us as well. So probably the same people as Commissioner Suarez, but I know there were others too that came up to me as well. So congratulations to the whole table.
Thank you. Sorry I couldn't be there.
It's okay. We
Perso-
took care of it.
personal
We
reason.
handled it. We took care of it, right, Suarez?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Mayor, one more item. Our beautiful building being built in the back will be done by the end of the month, so the manager had suggested that we pick a date sometime probably in September to do a ribbon cutting.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it.
A big ribbon.
Big, big revenue. Okay, anything else for the good of the order? Okay, need a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Have a wonderful weekend.
You too, Mr. Mayor.